Hey there, fellow explorers. Welcome to Discover Top 5, where we dive into the world's most amazing, unexpected, and mind-blowing facts, lists, and destinations. If you love uncovering the hidden gems, untold stories, and incredible places that make our world so unique, then you've just found your new favorite spot on the internet. Whether you're a seasoned traveler, a curious adventurer, or just someone who loves discovering something new every day, Discover Top 5 is all about the thrill of discovery. From jaw-dropping locations to the most fascinating facts you never knew you needed, we've got something for everyone. Get ready to be amazed, entertained, and who knows, maybe even inspired to pack your bags and go see it all for yourself. On this channel, we're all about taking you on a journey. We break down the top 5 spots, secrets, and stories you've never heard of. Whether it's the best places to visit across the globe, mind-blowing travel tips, or fascinating facts about different cultures and countries, we've got you covered. And guess what? We're not just talking about the obvious places, we're uncovering the ones that often fly under the radar. From the bustling streets of hidden cities to the quiet corners of the world, Discover Top 5 brings you closer to the destinations you've been dreaming of, and the ones you didn't even know existed. So, if you're ready for a little adventure, grab your passport and your curiosity. Hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey to explore the world's most fascinating and fun top 5 lists. No place is too far, no topic is too strange. Together, we'll discover what makes our planet so amazing. Are you ready to discover the top 5 things you never thought you needed to know? Let's dive in.
Let's start in the lush, serene corners of Vermont, a state where peace and quiet aren't just ideals, they're a lifestyle. You know those towns that are so quiet, you almost feel like the trees are listening? That's Vermont. A place so tranquil and friendly, you'd think you've crossed into Quebec without even realizing it. Vermont doesn't just look Canadian, it acts like it, too. With nearly 70% of the state covered in forest, it's one of the most beautiful places in the U.S. when winter comes around. The snow blankets the land for over a third of the year. And don't even get started on the maple syrup, this is the birthplace of the liquid gold we all love. But Vermont isn't just a state of winter charm. Its residents are incredibly polite, eco-conscious, and often sound more like they're from Nova Scotia than New York. Even with fewer than 650,000 people, Vermont's entire population is smaller than Winnipeg's. That gives the state that quiet, almost rural Canadian vibe that makes you feel like you've crossed into a long-lost cousin's home. Minnesota's winters aren't just cold, they're legendary. Think you've got it tough? Try living in a place where the cold is so intense it might snap your eyelashes shut. But it's not just the weather that makes Minnesota feel like it belongs on the other side of the border. With a population that loves hockey, poutine, and anything maple, Minnesota is a northern cousin of Manitoba. Home to more than 10,000 lakes, almost as many as Ontario, Minnesota shakes a cultural connection with Canada. Hockey isn't just a sport, it's practically a religion here. And the people. They're warm, friendly, and quick to say da and you betcha. In fact, the state fair even serves poutine. If you ever wanted a state that feels like it's just a breath away from Canada, Minnesota is the one. As we head northeast, we come to Maine, where the fog rolls in so thick, it feels like you've walked into the pages of a Canadian novel. This state is practically hugging Canada both geographically and culturally. Maine shares a border with New Brunswick and Quebec, and the cultural overlap is striking. From French-speaking communities in places like Madawaska to the annual celebrations of Canada Day, Maine has more in common with Canada than most realize. Maine's winters are tough. Snowstorms drop feet of powder overnight, and the wind chills freeze your skin within minutes. The rugged coastline, lobster boats drifting in icy harbors, and small towns with a tight-knit, reserved charm mirror the Canadian maritime provinces. With 90% of Maine covered in forests, it feels more like the remote wilds of Quebec than a bustling American state. The peaceful, slow-paced lifestyle here makes it one of the most Canadian states in the U.S.
Heading out west, we find ourselves in Washington, a state that often feels more like its northern neighbor, British Columbia, than the U.S. The city of Seattle, just 140 miles from Vancouver, shares more than just proximity. Both cities are tech-savvy, socially conscious, and surrounded by jaw-dropping natural beauty. The region is constantly drenched in rain, moss grows on everything, and the people are reserved, friendly, and environmentally conscious. It's as if the Canadian vibe was transported directly into the Pacific Northwest. The locals here are even known to tune into Canadian radio stations rather than American ones. In some places like Point Roberts, you can only reach the town by crossing through British Columbia. It's a little quirky, a little odd, but undeniably Canadian. Seattle's weather, culture, and laid-back vibe all share similarities with Vancouver. So, if you find yourself in Washington, don't be surprised if you start hearing more about recycling, composting, and the outdoors than any other topic. Michigan, specifically the Upper Peninsula, is an almost perfect replica of Ontario. Geographically, Michigan is surrounded by water, and if you take a trip up to the Upper Peninsula, you'll feel like you've crossed into Canada without a single checkpoint in sight. From the accent, which sounds suspiciously like a Canadian drawl, to the deep respect for nature and community, Michigan is more Canadian than you might think. The winters here are brutal, and snow can bury cars, but the locals handle it with a calm, easygoing demeanor. People here love their hockey, and you might hear more about snowmobiles than the latest politics. The state shares a long border with Canada, one that's often crossed casually, especially by those living near Ontario and Windsor. The shared culture of winter sports, rugged terrain, and even the economy, which leans heavily on forestry and resource industries, creates a deep cultural overlap with Canada. Now, let's venture north to Alaska, where the land is wild, isolated, and extremely Canadian in spirit. Alaska shares the longest border with Canada, more than 1,500 miles, and its geography and culture are far more in tune with Canada's northern provinces than the lower 48. The cold here is extreme, colder than Mars, and the lifestyle is one of rugged survivalism and deep respect for nature. In rural Alaska, residents rely on Canadian weather systems, emergency alerts, and sometimes even Canadian TV stations. The way of life in Alaska, especially in remote towns, resembles Canada's northern frontier. If you talk to locals, many would feel more connected to cities like Whitehorse and Yukon than to Washington, D.C. The cold, isolated, and independent lifestyle mirrors Canada's far north, where survival instincts and the respect for nature are paramount. New Hampshire might be small, but it punches well above its weight when it comes to feeling Canadian. The state's motto, "Live free or die," is bold, but its lifestyle feels incredibly laid back, reserved, and very Canadian. New Hampshire shares borders with Quebec and Maine, both of which have strong cultural ties to Canada, and this proximity is reflected in the lifestyle here. Much like Canada's northern provinces, New Hampshire is known for its harsh winters, which are embraced rather than complained about. The snow falls early and stays late, and the local outdoor activities like skiing and snowshoeing are very Canadian. The landscape of the state, forests, mountains, and lakes, feels straight out of Quebec or New Brunswick. If you want to feel like you've crossed into Canada, take a drive through Montana. From the endless open plains to the towering snow-packed peaks, Montana feels like Canada's western provinces. It shares an international border with Canada, and its culture and geography are remarkably similar to Alberta and British Columbia. The way of life here is slower, more traditional, and deeply connected to nature. The winters are harsh, and the people are resilient. Just like in Canada, the small towns in Montana are spread out, with more space than people, and the local economy is rooted in agriculture, resource industries, and cross-border trade. Finally, let's look at North Dakota, a state that often feels more Canadian than American. Its flat, frozen plains look like something straight out of Saskatchewan or Manitoba. The people here are reserved, self-reliant, and very much in tune with the land. North Dakota shares a border with Manitoba and Saskatchewan, and culturally, it's practically identical to the Canadian prairie provinces. The winters here are brutal, and life moves slowly, much like rural Canada. The state's economy is largely based on agriculture and energy industries that are also common in Canada's prairies. Even the accent here is closer to a Saskatchewan drawl than anything American.
Wow, what a journey we've just been on. Whether you're already packing your bags or bookmarking the next destination, I hope today's top 5 list has inspired you to see the world in a whole new light. From unbelievable facts to hidden gems you won't find on the typical tourist map, we've only just scratched the surface. If you enjoyed this adventure, don't forget to hit that like button. Your support helps bring more incredible content right to your screen, and it keeps me going on this journey to find the world's coolest spots and most interesting stories to share with you. And if you're new here, welcome to Discover Top 5. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new adventure. We've got so many more exciting lists, amazing places, and wild facts coming your way. And remember, there's always something new to discover, so you won't want to miss any of it. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know which destination or topic you'd love us to cover next. Have a favorite place that you think should be on a top 5 list? Tell me all about it. Who knows, it might just make it into one of our future videos. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow travelers, adventurers, or anyone who loves discovering new places. The more, the merrier, and I can't wait to bring you all along for the ride. Until next time, stay curious, stay adventurous, and most importantly, keep discovering. The world is full of amazing things. Let's explore it together.